Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. What's up, nerds? Today we'll be holding a more somber tone. We need to have a difficult discussion around a topic that makes the majority of people uncomfortable: death. No one wants to dwell on their own mortality, but it is something that all living things must face at some point. Inevitable, unavoidable. But what does death truly mean? Is it as simple as the action of dying or being killed? That seems a bit too vague. How about the permanent ending of vital processes in a cell or tissue? Maybe too specific? The truth is, it's hard to define death. In fact, how does one even define life? Some people would argue a person in a prolonged coma, subject to feeding tubes, is no longer alive since there's an absence of consciousness. But the contrary argument to that is that the person is still alive since the vital organs are still functioning. The heart is still pumping blood, the lungs are still breathing air. Or how about single-celled organisms? They do not have a consciousness, but do exhibit similar living characteristics of larger, more complex organisms. The truth is, defining life, and consequently death, may not be as simple as it seems at face value. Historically, death has been defined as the cessation of a heartbeat and of breathing. But what about the cases where people have stopped breathing, where their heartbeat has stopped, but then have been resuscitated through the act of CPR? By that definition, they would have been considered dead, but then brought back to life. In this example, death can be a temporary state. So what about cryopreservation? Could someone who stops breathing, whose heart stops beating, then be placed in a frozen state to preserve the body in hopes that advancement in medical technology in the future will be able to then bring them back to life? If possible, would that then not change the basic definition of life and death that we know? Would the definition start to evolve to view death simply as a certain prolonged state rather than a permanent one? Even in present day, some cultures and religions don't view death at the end of life, but rather a process of a shift from one spiritual state to another. For example, resurrection, a standard belief in the Abrahamic religions. This manifests in two forms, which are not exclusive of one another. The first is the resurrection of the dead at the end of the world. Please reference Ghostbusters 2 for additional information on this, and do that quick. Seeing as how 2020 has gone so far, it would seem like a fitting cherry on top of the shit sundae that is this year. The second is the resurrection of individual souls, like that of that one Jewish dude, the Jeebus. And this is how we'll dominate our opponents in the battlegrounds, with the power of resurrection. We will not comply with the definition of death established by this world. We will transcend beyond traditional beliefs and resurrect our allies in our warband to overpower our foes. In the early and mid-game, our hero Nozdormu relied on the Deathrattles of Spawn of the Zoth and Kaboom to defeat his opponents. However, to harness the true power of the undead, he will require more powerful allies to come to his aid. Minions like Mechano Egg and Sneed's Old Shredder will provide an army of Deathrattle minions to overwhelm the other heroes. However, there are a few key subjects missing. First is Baron Rivendare.
The Scourge will consume you!
A powerful Death Knight who serves the Lich King. He will provide Nozdormu's warband with the ability to double their Deathrattle effects. Our Murloc Sacrifice has summoned the Death Knight, who will now aid us in our future battles. Our warband is now closer to harnessing the true potential of Deathrattles. Baron will cultivate the true power of Spawn and the Kaboom while our hero Nozdormu will look to recruit the other Deathrattle minions in which we've discussed. Baron begins to showcase his strength. Millhouse Manastorm's pitiful magic is laughable in comparison to the power of the Scourge. Nozdormu lands a powerful blow, sending Millhouse scurrying back to Bob's Tavern. And then is rewarded with a Mechano Egg. The third spawn allows the trio to transform like Voltron and summon Sneeds to aid in their future fights. Nozdormu's strength is surging, but our hero knows his power is limited. There is one final ally that is missing though. Attempts to recruit this minion will have to wait. The focus now will be to triple our current subjects to create powerful golden minions and increase the power of their Deathrattles. Another victory for our hero Nozdormu. Moving up to Tavern 5 will not allow any immediate improvement for our warband, but will allow us to hunt for the final piece to our puzzle. A loss to brand, but a small price to pay for the ability to greatly increase our power in the coming turns. A golden kaboom, and the summoning ritual will commence once again. And the final piece has fallen into place. Kangor's Apprentice. Baron's ability to double the effects of Deathrattle minions, paired with the resurrection power of Kangor's Apprentice, will provide endless waves of minions for our opponents to fight off. And then we'll freeze the board in order to put the Annoya module on layaway. This will increase our defense, allowing our Baron to avoid being struck down too early in battle, and ensure he is able to wield his power to increase the effects of our Deathrattles. Let's see how Shutterwalk, the strongest hero in the lobby, fares against the deadly trio of Nozdormu, Baron, and Kangor's Apprentice. Ha! He did not fare well. Another egg. If a third is found, the Robosaur that spawns from the egg will not only provide a huge 16/16 minion, but will spawn twice from the Baron and can also then be resurrected by the magic of Kangor's Apprentice.
Let's see if you can stay on top.
We humiliate Yogg, but he lives to fight another day. A second Sneeds, and a third egg. This golden boy will provide us huge robot dinosaurs that Edwin will struggle to deal with. And the addition of Gas Coiler will provide potential for our board to be refilled with Deathrattle minions if the rogue is able to cut down our waves of mechs. Let's battle. An honorable fight from the thief, but as we predicted, he's unable to fight off our waves of minions. The power of Deathrattle coupled with the power of Resurrection was too much for him. He's sent back home with little reward for his efforts. Then a golden sneeze. Our form is nearly final. Nozdormu will hunt for a golden baron from here on out, but also keep his eye out for Kangor's apprentices and gas coilers, both of which, if golden, will become welcome upgrades.
Let's see if you can stay on top.
Here, our egg keeps Baron safe from the reach of Zap Slywick. With a Baron of his own, Eudora could present a challenge. Eudora escapes with her life. We will enjoy watching the life drain from her eyes soon enough. But for now, we need to focus on finishing the job that we once started. Yogg has clung to life, but we will help loosen his grip. We recruit a Zap of our own. Eudora does not have the protection for his Baron like we do for ours. He will sit on the sidelines for now, and then we will throw him into the starting lineup for our final bout against Eudora. Cute Murlocs, Yogg. Were you looking for a Megasaur? And I was holding one in my hand, keeping it out of the pool? Sorry, not sorry. Back to the lobby for you. So we'll bid adieu to one of our earliest allies, Spawn, and throw Zap into the fight, and then ponder where the phrase bid you adieu actually came from. It sounds French though. Who cares? Let's focus on relieving the life from this stupid captain piece of shit. And it looks like Zap is a quick understudy. He does his job to perfection. Eudora's Baron is removed from the battle before a single Deathrattle goes off for the captain. Now let's sit back, relax, and enjoy watching Eudora die a slow, painful death. The satisfaction I get from asphyxiating Eudoras allows me to die a happy man. But remember, death is only a temporary state. As you go forward through life, remember to challenge the traditional beliefs on death. We tend to view ancient civilizations as primitive and uneducated in comparison to today. But one can argue they had much more personal experience with death, and with experience comes wisdom. It's easy to dismiss things such as resurrection, that once you die, you're just gone. But what about those miracles in medicine? What about those whose lungs have stopped breathing air, whose hearts have stopped pumping blood, only to be revived by a doctor or EMT? Can we consider that a form of resurrection? And if so, is that just the tip of the iceberg? Is it possible there are deeper mysteries yet to be uncovered, or ones that have been lost in the corridors of time and require us to rediscover them? So go forth and remember, death is just a temporary state. Godspeed, nerds.
Thank you.